the road to the final is about to get serious. We've got 8 huge clashes, legendary clubs going head-to-head, and some serious dark horses looking to shake things up. As usual, according to the experts and odds makers, Real Madrid lead the pack, but can Bayern, Liverpool, or perhaps outsiders like PSG or Inter Milan upset the odds and cause a shock? Well, in our new series on Sportytrader Road to the Final, we'll dive into each clash, analyze the key stats using a particularly helpful tool on our website, and predict who's making it to the quarterfinals. And before I forget guys, if you love Champions League action like I do and you want to stay up to date with the road to the final, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel Sportytrader, and without further ado, let's dive right in. The first match on the cards is a real clash of styles when Club Brugge take on Aston Villa in their first ever Champions League knockout tie. It's low-key kind of crazy to think that either one of Club Brugge or Aston Villa will make it to the Champions League quarterfinal this season. Brugge, for their part, made it to the knockout stages by the absolute skin of their teeth, literally, on goal difference. But they were certainly good value for the win over 2 legs against Atalanta. Unai Emery's Villa definitely impressed though, finishing 8th in the group and scoring 13 goals in the process. Statistically, Brugge have been clinical, converting 12% of their shots on target into goals, but their XGA suggests they concede more than they should, something Villa will certainly look to exploit. Look, here's how I see this match playing out. Brugge will sit deep and play on the counter, relying on their pace in transition, while Villa stick to their structured build-up, controlling possession and patiently breaking them down. Brugge have already shown us that they have the ability to cause problems, but Villa's quality and more importantly tactical discipline should be enough to see them through. We'll back Aston Villa to advance, but not without a fight. There's a big one next, the Madrid derby. Real Madrid faces Atletico Madrid in a high-stakes encounter. Does it get bigger than this? You tell me. Historically, Real Madrid has held the upper hand in European competitions. In fact, you should remember this actually. Not too long ago, these two sides met in La Liga and it ended in a 1-1 draw. Kylian Mbappe was the one who actually netted the equalizer for Real Madrid. Oh, and speaking of Kylian Mbappe, boy, were we wrong about him. This man is actually unstoppable. He's been instrumental in Madrid's attack, and that's even putting it lightly. But almost ironically, he comes up against one of the best defenses in the world, Atletico's defense. A backline that's considered an average of only 1.5 goals per game. With all that out of the way, let's talk tactics now. I expect Real Madrid to adopt an offensive approach, leveraging players like Mbappe and Bellingham to break down Atletico's resilient defense. Conversely, Simeone's side will adopt a disciplined defensive strategy aiming to capitalize on counter-attacks. Anticipate a closely contested tie as a result, with Real Madrid potentially edging through to the quarterfinals based purely on their firepower and European pedigree. PSV versus Arsenal is a battle of attack versus control. PSV have actually been very ruthless in front of goal, averaging 2 goals per match in the Champions League, while Arsenal's defense has been one of the very best in Europe, conceding just 0.38 goals per game. I admit, it would be very unfair if I didn't mention the injury crisis Arsenal is currently facing. It's mind-blowing. They quite literally have no recognized number 9. I'm not entirely sure if that will be the case for this game as well, but I expect that will have a big impact on Arsenal's goal-scoring ability. Let me now look into my crystal ball and tell you guys exactly how this game goes. I expect Arsenal to press aggressively, winning the ball high up the pitch and transitioning quickly into attack, while PSV will look to stay compact and hit on the counter. PSV's firepower certainly makes them dangerous, but Arsenal's structure, their midfield control and their defensive solidity should give them the edge. Arsenal's quality will likely shine through of course, but I don't expect for a second that PSV will make this one easy. But that shouldn't matter as we fully expect the Gunners to advance to the next stage. Funny enough, Feyenoord actually has the tag the Milan killer. They beat City rivals AC Milan in the last round and now they come up against Inter Milan. Inter will most certainly be out to avenge their neighbors and restore pride and honor to the city of Milan. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is a classic battle of resilience versus control. Inter's defense has been rock solid, keeping 7 clean sheets in 8 Champions League matches, while Feyenoord's attack has been lively, averaging at least 2 goals per match. Feyenoord will likely sit deep in a low block, absorbing pressure and looking to counter with speed, just like they did in that second leg against AC Milan, while Inter will be out to dominate possession using their midfield control to dictate the game. And that won't be hard to do, mainly because of the sheer star quality the Italians possess. You have Bastoni, the classy defender, you have Di Marco, the marauding wingback, and then you have Lautaro Martinez, a literal Ballon d'Or candidate. The Dutch side's attacking threat cannot be ignored, but Inter's defensive discipline and experience should see them through. Feyenoord will certainly fight as we've seen before, but Inter's control and quality should prevail. Our pick is Inter Milan to advance. No matter what Bayern Munich do, they just can't seem to get rid of their Bundesliga rivals Bayer Leverkusen. For goodness sakes, they are constantly on their tails. They grabbed their Bundesliga crown from them last season, and now they're on a mission to knock them out of the Champions League. So this is clearly a clash of firepower versus control. Harry Kane has been out of this world this season, scoring 7 goals in 8 Champions League appearances. What more must this player do to win a trophy? But sadly, he's been up against Xabi Alonso's Leverkusen, a team that dominates possession, averaging 56% per match in the competition. Bayern will look to strike quickly with direct, high-intensity attacks, using Kane's movement and finishing to punish any defensive gaps. Leverkusen, on the other hand, will play with patience, I expect, controlling the tempo and looking for the perfect opening. Granted, it's a battle of styles, but Bayern's overall experience and Kane's form could make the difference. There's no denying Leverkusen will push them hard, but Bayern's cutting edge should see them through. Our pick, Bayern Munich to advance. For a side that have been so poor this season, Borussia Dortmund have just found a very weird way to keep winning in the Champions League. It truly defies logic. Well, that UCL magic will certainly be put to the test when they face off against a formidable Lille side. I expect a key factor in how this game turns out will be how Dortmund perform in their home leg at the Signal Iduna Park. They were certainly dominant there in the group stage, winning 3 out of their 4 matches. In comparison, Lille's away form was just okay, with only a 50% win rate out of 4 games. This makes for an intriguing matchup, especially considering Dortmund's attack has been firing, averaging 2.5 goals per match, with the 7-1 thrashing of Celtic as their biggest win this campaign. Lille, meanwhile, has a disciplined defense, conceding just 1.17 goals per game on average. Back to the crystal ball now, and I can see Dortmund looking to overwhelm with high pressing and attacking intensity, while Lille try to stay compact and aim to hit on the break. I think Lille have been a rock-solid team both in the Champions League and in the Ligue 1, and that's certainly more than I can say about Dortmund this season. We predict Lille to advance to the next round. No, guys, you are not having a deja vu. We do indeed get to see Benfica versus Barcelona once again in the round of 16. In most people's opinion, the most entertaining match of the group stage, and we the lucky fans get to see it once again. And this time over 2 legs. In that meeting, Barcelona edged Benfica in a thrilling 5-4 win, coming back from 3-1 down with Rafinha scoring a last-minute winner. Wow, even remembering it has left me out of breath. I literally spent the full 90 minutes on the edge of my seats. And speaking of Rafinha, this is a real special player. I know everyone waxes lyrical about Lamine Yamal, and rightly so, but I feel for Barcelona to have the upper hand here, Rafinha will be the more influential player as we've seen recently. Benfica's deep defensive setup will aim to frustrate, while Barcelona's quick ball circulation and attacking movements will look to break them down. Both teams do like to press the action at times though, averaging over 6 shots on target per match each, but Barcelona tends to dominate possession a touch more, holding an impressive 60% on average. Benfica will be dangerous on the counter, but Barcelona's control should see them through. We expect Barcelona to advance to the next round. And finally, arguably the biggest and most competitive game of this stage, it's Paris Saint-Germain taking on the mighty Liverpool. This is without a doubt a battle of 2 European giants in absolute top form. You want to know a crazy stat? PSG are actually unbeaten in their last 23 matches in Ligue 1. Yeah, I know. I also had to check if I was reading that right. Meanwhile, Liverpool is undoubtedly the dominant force in Europe right now, a shoe-in to win the Premier League and finishing the Champions League group stage on top. PSG thrives on possession. They are the 3rd best in the UCL, while Liverpool is ever so slightly behind. Both teams are lethal in attack as well. PSG averages 2.4 goals per game, with Ousmane Dembele leading their scoring, while Liverpool hits 2.13 goals per game with Cody Gakpo as their top scorer. Guys, let's take a brief moment to pay our respects to Ousmane Dembele. He's a player that always flies under the radar, but this year especially he's hit another level, the level many expected him to hit when he burst onto the scene all those years ago. So we are back looking into our crystal ball now. What do I see? Well, I see PSG's attacking firepower clashing with Liverpool's relentless pressing. Liverpool's second leg home advantage gives them the edge, and so we expect they'll make it through, but just barely. And so that wraps up our Champions League round of 16 predictions. Based on our analysis, Barcelona, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Arsenal, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, Aston Villa and Lille are the teams we expect to advance. But I must admit, football is wildly unpredictable. So what do you think? Drop your predictions in the comments. Who is pulling off an upset and who is making a deep run? If you also want to give our football team comparison tool a try, you can find the link in the video description or alternatively on our website sportytrader.com. There, you can also find even more insights on the Champions League for the rest of this season's edition. And don't forget, we are going to be covering every single stage of the competition. So make sure you stay tuned for our quarterfinal predictions immediately after the round of 16 is over. And as always, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel Sporty Trader, and turn on notifications so you don't miss that upcoming video. Thanks so much for watching, and see you all in the next episode of The Road to the Final.